I ruined my life, and I don't regret it. All names are changed. They're fake. This all happened 10 years ago when I was about 19. I found out my then boyfriend Kevin was cheating on me with my older sister Jen. I was beyond devastated. Well, because Jen and I were really close. She was my role model. Not only that, but Kevin was honestly my first big love. So it was really crushing. Everything was made so much worse when my parents sided with Jen. She had always been a bit of the golden child, but my parents had never shown their favoritism to this extent. They kept telling me that these things happen, but family always forgives. Crap like that made me cry a lot, and I kept telling them I couldn't forgive them. My dad told me to stop being so dramatic. My mom said I was a disappointment because she raised me better. Jen just said she was sorry, but she and Kevin really loved each other, and they never meant to hurt me. I honestly just felt so alone and depressed and worthless. I was like a zombie for months. I mostly just slept, and I refused to talk to my sister. My parents kept telling me to move on because even if it hurt, Jen was still my sister, and she was more important than some guy. Eventually, it was too much, and I decided to kill myself. I was so convinced that Kevin was the love of my life, and I just couldn't get over how he betrayed me and how my family made me feel so alone and crazy. I wrote a very angry and depressing suicide note that talked about everything that had happened and scheduled it to be published on Tumblr after I died. Fortunately, my roommate, my best friend, Alice, found me after I overdosed on pills. I was unconscious for a while before I woke up. Then I was put into a hold because I was still very obviously suicidal, and I was considered a danger to myself. I was there for a while and only had contact with my grandparents, since they were the only ones I wanted to talk to at the time. When I finally got to go home, it was my grandparents who picked me up and took me to their house. They're the reason why I'm still here right now, and I love them more than anything in the world. They put me in therapy, got my medication, and were with me the whole time. I never asked about my family. They never told me anything either. At that time, I just assumed they were mad at me for being dramatic. Then I got the real story from Alice a month later. Her then girlfriend had been pissed on my behalf and shared my Tumblr post on her Facebook. She even tagged my parents, Jen and Kevin, and called them out. Well, her then girlfriend was also one of those people who had 1,000 plus friends, so the post got shared, and my family and Kevin were attacked by family and friends and strangers. It was a shit show. A lot of people called Jen a whore and my parents heartless monsters. My mom was ostracized by her church. My dad's friends stopped talking to him. A lot of Jen's friends were disgusted by her behavior and ditched her. Kevin got backlash too because he lied to his super religious family that we had broken up amicably and said God guided him to Jen. My grandparents told my mom, their daughter, that she was dead to them for how much she and my family hurt me. They were the ones that forced my parents and Jen to back off and leave me alone and to never contact me until I reached out to them, but I never did because they were dead to me too. Jen and Kevin ended up breaking up after his parents sent him away to find Jesus again. I have no idea what became of him. Jen had to move to get away from everyone calling her a whore. I haven't spoken or even seen her in 10 years. Last I heard, she's got 3 kids from 2 different men and she's not with either of them. My parents became social outcasts and are now just homebodies. We rarely talk, and it's all superficial. They miss my birthdays, my graduation, my engagement, and even my wedding. They won't be part of my child's life either. I know it hurts them. I tell people around me that I don't care about them or their feelings, which is true to an extent, but in reality, I'm glad. I'm glad they're hurting and suffering.